Okay, recording has started, and this is a little bit different. This is Toonkind at 12 frames per second, which is a joke. If you get the joke, you're as big a nerd as we are, and I'm very impressed. This is like a whole category of things for just two characters, or maybe three. This is like a little role-playing extra character development thing. I can't remember who came up with this idea. Like people were wanting.
Um, I
I,
think like just us like bouncing back and forth,
mm-hmm.
it ended up
Yeah,
refining into this state.
I think so. Yeah, so we basically realised that the engineer and Larry have quite a lot in common, and wouldn't it be nice for them to just have chill son and dad conversation? And so this is what we're going to do. But it will also fill out a bit of a hole in the plot because I goofed up super bad because I was reading from a script which did not account for the fact that Larry is afraid of water. And I said at the end of the game, oh, by the way, this is all post the Taffy Train reunion game. I will link to that. If you haven't listened to the Taffy Train saga in all, I would recommend doing that before this because you will be very spoiled and very confused. But I basically said there was this scene where Larry dives into the water in the movie, and it's like, well, this is going to be how that happened because movies are magic. And how long is this going to be post the big fight? Do you need? Do you think it's like 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, probably about 2 days after because like you said, the we need to make sure that like if they're filming, they want to get as much footage that's similar to what was there before.
That's true, and because the atmosphere in Inkwell is lifting, it's thawing. So Toontown, which has been under an icy thaw like Narnia style, has started to melt a bit. So the Mississippi River is becoming less icy. So they need to film before it disappears because ain't no way in
Hmm.
hell that the engineer can afford a heated indoors pool like lots of fancy movie studios have. They have to do this thing live. So, he watched the rushes from the actual fight and saw Larry doing the cool Ninja Warrior style running on the broken river thing and was just like, we have to keep that in. That's so badass. So this scene is where Larry, as still a cop but soon not to be, runs and saves the engineer who is in the water. And yeah, do you want to describe what Larry does up to the point of me interrupting you? Or
um, so Larry has sort of set it up so that he has launched himself across the cracking river after his fallen previous antagonizing force across the whole movie, but suddenly sympathy has grasped his cold and dead heart, numbed by years of working in this uncaring um and
deeply
you
flawed
know
system?
uh mechanical force. Yeah, a
Mm-hmm.
very flawed system, let's say. um and as he nears the spot where he believes uh, the engineer has been grasping at the underside of the ice, and he pauses trying to figure out a way to get him out, and suddenly the ice cracks from underneath him, and he tries to escape, but uh, plunges into the water, um, which, uh-oh. um, but don't worry, it's movie magic.
It is movie magic because I don't know if people listening to this will know, but in the opening of the Muppet movie, the first one, they set up this incredible thing where Jim Henson was like in a box suspended in the river, like underneath the surface of the river, so he could operate Kermit on the log. That's amazing. If I can find a diagram, I'll try and put it in the video. But they've basically done that for Larry because as soon as Engineer realised that he doesn't do water. He was just like, okay, fine, we don't put Larry in the water, that's easy. So they have a big suspended box underneath the river, and the ice that he was standing on that broke, maybe slightly magically imbued styrofoam or something. And then there's silent image illusion of the water splashing to sell it. But yeah, Larry is completely bone dry for this whole scene. The engineer, on the other hand, knows that movie magic isn't magic unless half of it is real, so he's actually in the river. So after this dramatic, Larry actually disappears into the ice, and then there's this really uncomfortably long shot of just the ice, and then Larry's hand breaks out of it, sort of ironic zombie style, and hauls himself out of the water, and then pulls the engineer out of the water. And then there is much dramatic coughing and spluttering on the part of the engineer.
Yes.
Does Larry say anything cool? I didn't script anything for you, sorry.
Yeah. He's... Oof. No need for you to take a dive like that.
The engineer coughs up more water, and he's like, if the river hadn't tried to drown me, I think your joke would have finished me off. But I do appreciate it. Are you trying to capture me, or... I mean, you've been trying to catch me all this time, and this is the first time I've actually been grateful.
Well, this is first time I felt like I was doing it for a good reason. You've got someone who still needs you up on the surface.
I don't know if I can reach them.
Well, be a boost.
You? And there's this rather touching sort of where he's looking with total disbelief. And I like to imagine that, Larry, you're standing up looking really cool and you reach your hand down, anime style, like, we are now brothers, yes. Yeah. So, yeah.
Dramatic clench of hands, yes.
Very, very cool. And, you haul the engineer to his feet. And what do you do with your police badge?
He takes it off, gives it one last look, and then just drops it into the river.
Nice.
This is not the life I wanted to lead. I didn't do this so that I could tear families apart.
Oh, that's so cute. And, the engineer watches the badge sort of disappear under the water. In fact, I can imagine an under-the-water shot. I don't know how they got the camera down there. It's magic. A wizard did it. Probably literally.
Yeah.
He said, well, perhaps you can help me keep one together. And that's basically the engineer saying that you're my family. Yay, it's cute. And he says, cut! Alright, check the gate. That was a buzzer. Light's changing, so I'll have to pick up filming tomorrow, but I reckon that scene is in the can. And there's everyone around you filming this, and they go, bananas, because this was really important. And yes, hooray! And Larry and the engineer get big, cuddly, warm, dry towels, even though Larry doesn't really need one. You want to feel included, and probably...
Yeah, he still, in order to sell the shot, he did at least, he was willing to get wet.
Yeah. It's kind of inevitable as well, because, you did actually have to haul the engineer's ass out of frozen water. Oh, while all this is happening, I think Shorts, Kid and Snalien are probably... helping, in inverted commas, DJ moves, with the soundtrack or something. Basically, the engineer didn't want them having to witness him in the water again, because that would probably be fairly traumatizing.
Yeah.
Charlie, I don't know where you're at. You may be just laying low, because there's lots of investigators around still, post the events. And yes, we get hot chocolate, because hot chocolate is great and also relevant to extra stuff from the Discord, which people will understand. Get those dailies to me on double time. I'll be wanting to review that as soon as possible. Alright, pack up, shove off, good work all round, back here in the morning, 6 o'clock sharp, and if any of yours did be late, I'll eat your liver while you're still breathing. and everyone starts to pack up. And I think that's where we start the unplanned stuff, because these two are now basically left to sort themselves out and equally, like, sort of go home.
Yeah, Larry is just sort of like holding a cup of hot cocoa and just sort of like letting it warm him up, because it is cold out here and he is wet. Not a great combo.
Bless. The engineer has a slight advantage, despite, having actually got dunked, because he's so happy at how this scene went that he's doing the glowing thing again. So he's actually pretty warm. He's changed his coat for a dry one and all that sort of stuff. Do you want to make a perception check for me?
Sure. Hold on. I forgot to actually pull up Larry's sheet.
I'm just gonna randomly throw some rolls in because it's more fun like that, but I mean, and likewise, you can make me roll, like, if you want me to do insight or anything. I'd be fine with that.
Flat D20. Oh, that's a nat 20.
That's a nat 20. Wow. Yeah, you very much, very, very much observe how happy he is, and you suspect a large part of that is not simply just, like, everything went well, but he's really proud of you for going through this, and he's, like, basically giving you a big smile. But the other thing you notice is he definitely gets a hit flask out of underneath his coat and pours whatever was in there into his hot chocolate before he drinks it.
Oh, that's one way to celebrate.
I'll put fire in your feathers. I'd offer you some, but I have actually no idea how old you are.
Old enough.
Are you sure about that? And he's like offering it to you, but are you
sure? Larry does take some, sort of like holds it up as if giving it a sniff, and then pour some in.
Okay.
But you know what? I will give you the opportunity. Make a perception check.
Oh, have fun. Okay, yeah, that's a +4 from me. 10, not so good.
You see him tilt the cup up to his mask. If you know the way Larry is, you can't see a reaction to the drink, but yeah, that's all you get.
Curses. Yeah, he's slightly vexed. In fact, like, he was so occupied with drinking his own, and then he realised he had a chance, and then he missed it, and he's like, damn it. You may notice, after having drunk, what you put in, that this is not just rum, that was what was in the flask, but it is rum, which has had a sizable amount of Tabasco sauce put in it as well. Hey, you didn't ask.
I did not ask.
You did not ask.
Larry
I hope you
goes.
Like spicy food, Larry. Sorry.
He goes, okay, that is flavor.
I don't even think the engineer would even register that you might think this is a unique selection. He's just like, yeah, it's one of my favourites. Okay, and so here's the thing. And he finishes off his drink, which he didn't let cool down at all. He just, like, chugged it, and it's, like, lava hot.
Of course not.
Of course not. About this scene, like, I know you don't have to explain to me why you are not good with a wee bit of water, but is there something I can do to help you about that? I happen to know a penguin who is rather good at swimming lessons.
It's you've the whole little pod you set up there, that's more effort than you needed to do already. No. Thanks.
He waves his hand at that. He's like, no, that's you don't get away that lightly with that. If you have an issue with anything, as long as I'm aware of it, I will work around it. I mean, I've, thrown you into situations without warning, and I've done that for quite a lot of years to quite a lot of people. And he's, again, looking rather ruefully upwards, like he's sort of actually, had a lot of time to think about that maybe not such a great work ethic. But you have done more for me than I could ever have expected of anybody, let alone a comparative stranger. I mean, making a bucket for you to standing in the river, that is really not a lot of bother.
Well, it's I I still I still gotta ask. Why do you even want me in this movie? I'm not exactly the king of charisma.
He, you know that thing that dogs do when they look at you and just tilt their head sideways and one ear is up and one ear is down? He does that to you because he's just he's outright puzzled because he can't understand how you don't realize how well you've been doing. So he puts the mug down and he like puts it down in midair, and then Al comes in and catches it and then disappears with it. And he says, Wow, I've heard of people being completely, in the moment, so they don't know how well they've done the performance, but you take the cake, the biscuit, and whatever else is on offer. You were incredible in that final scene on the train. That was reason enough, but your ability to do stunts, he like is really enthusing, and he hasn't met someone that could do acting and stunts for quite a long time. He's like, you are gold dust. How can you not realize? You're brilliant, Larry. What do you
Larry
mean?
just sort of takes a moment.
What do you mean?
Looking down at his cup.
He's like climbing up you now, like, what do you mean? Are you doubting my ability to judge you? I have been working in this field for a long time. He's almost threatening you.
Larry's just sort of like craning his neck back, like, oh, okay. He sort of scratches at the back of his head and thinks about it. Well, that's I'm just glad I could help out, I guess. This is not really the direction I saw my artistic career going, but
Sorry, this whole conversation is happening with you with a small fiery animal sort of hanging off the front of your hoodie. He actually
he's just rolling with it. He's used to sailing up there.
Yeah, the engineer sort of nods as if this will do as an acceptance, and then abseils down off you using the strings from your hoodie. Like they go zip and it fastens up your hood. You're probably very upset about that.
He like waits a second with it all just like squished in before pulling it back up.
Now there you see, you just did it again, and he's pointing it right up at you. He's like, you waited a beat. You waited a beat. That's good comedy. You're a good actor.
Just me.
Well, in that case, you, and he's like gesturing at you, are, in part, if not completely, a good actor. I mean, have you had a conversation with yourself lately over that? I did overhear a conversation about how your audition with DJ Moves went, musically speaking. And he's really trying not to laugh, but he's failing horribly. Are you sure that you're pursuing the right course of action with that career choice?
Larry just sort of like, his head bobbles back and forth a little bit awkward. He's like, I didn't. music for me isn't about getting famous or successful. I I don't know if you've noticed this about me. I'm not really good at emotions, but music is sort of a route around that.
He sort of scratches the bottom of his chin and nods, and he doesn't quite scuff a foot, but he looks like he's like contemplating the movement. He's like, well, you may have noticed that I'm a little rough around the edges when it comes to interpersonal relationships myself, and well, film, music, art, it's an outlet, eh?
Yeah, that's what art is for, right?
I I I think it is. What does your music mean to you? Oh, sorry, it's Persian out here. Let's get going. He's picking up some of the film canisters, and he's gonna carry those back to the studio. Or you can pick up something if you want.
Yeah, Larry can sort of heft up some of the equipment to help move things back.
It's very good to have two barbarians on the team.
Indeed.
Good at hitting things, good at lifting things. Ray. So, tell me, how did you get into music then?
Uh, that's a long and weird story. Uh, I don't know. It's I
If it's too soon for you to tell me, I do understand.
the the thing that always got me about it is, you know, you hit a chord and there's so much there. Um, I'm not, you know, not great at words, but there's just so much more in the melody that you can get out of there. And like you said, not everyone is into the chords I'm hitting,
Mm-hmm.
which is fair, but it's still mine, and that feels good.
He nods at this. I think some of the best work I've done is some of my least liked, but the people who do understand it, that's more valuable than getting tickets sold at the box office.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a pretty long career. What made you start doing all this?
Well, that's a question. Uh, and he's sort of, yeah, he hasn't been asked that outside of an interview like ages ago. So he's, well, when I was very wee lad, my mother, who pretty much raised me single handed, she, I was a bit of a handful. Can you believe that? Me? I mean, I'm so well behaved. Uh, but she knew that I enjoyed it, even when I was a small thing. I always tried to entertain people, whether it was by chucking myself off things or trying to get them to laugh. But there was a travelling show, and we didn't have much money, but she managed somehow to get us in there. I'm not sure we even paid now I think about it. And he's trying to cast his memory back, but he was very, very young. Anyway, we managed to catch one of the first pieces of film. You know that film and Uncle was invented by those Lumiere Candlestick brothers?
Yeah, I've heard him. Heard of
Showing
him.
my age, and I. That was 50 years ago now, wouldn't it be? Oh, now I really do feel old. But I went and they showed a piece of film, the first that I had ever seen, many, many people. And it had a train heading out right out towards you off a screen. Can you imagine? People were diving for cover under the seats, but not me. Oh, I was sat there just, basking in it. I just knew. I'd always loved trains, but that flame flickering ahead of me, I just immediately, I knew that was what I wanted to do. It was like a calling to me.
So, combination of trains and film, always in there, huh?
Always, always. They've got a lot more in common than people think, you know. I mean, that roaring sound, and they burn, you know. Film burns. And when it's a real true story, it gets in there, you know. And he's patting his chest very emphatically.
Well, I'll be honest, the that last train we were on was my first time checking one out.
Oh, not such a good first time experience. Well, my apologies for that. And it's a shame that your second was only a rental. And yeah, the film ends with a train, but you can't imagine like being able to afford a whole train. And you sort of there's a you probably don't have to roll perception to see that his fists are kind of clenched. He's like, I've still not been able to get my train back out from the people who took her in terms of payment for what I owe McCodger, but maybe one day I'll be able to pay off the bailiffs.
And Larry's just like, this is maybe this is a dumb question. What do you do with a private train? You just drive it back and forth on the. I don't.
Oh,
I'm not.
there's no such thing as a private train. Trains are made for many people. No, that would defeat the. I think a train would die if you tried to make it a private one. And he's laughing at the idea, and then kind of stops laughing because his train is in train jail and is effectively that right now. It's kind of like been turned into a museum piece, and he actually cools down a bit. He goes back to his regular orange rather than the glowing, which he had been doing. Well, yes, no, yeah, it's a valid question. Well, movie studios, as you may have noticed, eat money almost literally, and I have to make funds however I can, and I kind of run the train as the conductor or the engineer all the time, but it does run. It transports people, and more often than not, equipment. It's she's a builder. I really hope one day you can meet her. She's called Willow, the Will-o'-the-Wisp 209 Express. You'd never seen a train like her. Mind you, if that taffy train was your first experience, then that's no great step to make, is it? She's built for stunts though. I made her with my own two hands. So proud of what he's done right here. he's starting to glow again, and it can turn on a dime.
Larry,
Sorry,
Larry sort of quirks his head to the side. So was the name before or after that?
Oh, it was after. It was only after I'd finished making her that I knew who she was. You know, it's a journey. You have to get to know them. They all have a personality. The taffy train, bless her soul, she was a beauty as well. I do hope she rests in peace.
I meant your name.
Ah. Well, he's tugging the collar on his shirt like he's kind of embarrassed. Well, it was one again. I've had a couple of names actually. In the beginning, when I worked as a stuntman, I had another nickname, the man who died 1,000 times. Catchy, isn't it? I didn't even come up with that myself. That was people who kept seeing me get blown to pieces. They came up with that. That was great. But
Seems fitting from what I've seen.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I hope I make less of a literal habit of it in the future. But no, I was not always called the engineer. That's true. And he's very clearly avoiding trying to tell you what his original name was.
Yeah, Larry won't press the point.
Well, you could roll persuasion if you really want to.
All things considered, with Larry, like he's fine with just leaving it there.
Okay, that's
Um,
cool. Yeah, because he looks like he doesn't really want to confess that just yet. But
um,
what about you? I mean, I've been the topic of too many conversations lately. I know absolutely nothing about you, apart from the fact that I think you're great.
um, there's not a whole lot to know. I'm just, uh, yeah, traveling and looking for someone who listens, I guess.
I've got a pair of ears. And he wiggles them comically.
Are they ears? Is that what they are?
Well, yeah, I suppose there is some debate on that, but I do believe that these are ears, yes.
All right, I'll trust your expertise.
Well, I have lived with them for 60 years now. But, I mean, well, not to make things too heavy too seriously too soon, but if there is anything you want to tell anyone, like if you need to talk, I am here. I know that we haven't made it official and we don't have to. He puts his hands up like you don't have to. But, I whether you want me to or not, I now consider you to be my family and I will be here for you in whatever capacity that I can offer.
Oh, that's nice of you. But I mean, the you and the kid and the other kid, presumably. It's like we all don't know how old Stale is, but
Nobody knows.
he more or less considers Alien a kid.
Yeah.
um, and he goes, but what you guys have is pretty great, but that that sort of thing, it's not really something I get. I've never had that, so I've never really been looking for it either. But
Okay, those debated ears are now kind of drooping in a really sort of sympathetic way. This is like the saddest thing he's ever heard.
it's no, don't. It's not a big deal. It's just what it is. I I what's happened with all you guys? It's been nice, and
Whoa,
I'm
whoa, whoa! Hang on, hold
glad.
on. Why are you talking in the past tense? That's not. You don't have to leave this if you don't want to.
I I like being around you guys, and I intend to be around, but I feel weird about staying in one place too long. I don't like it attaching myself to others too hard.
But
It feels uncomfortable.
if you haven't actually done that before, how can you know what it's like long term?
I have had it before in with someone, and one thing I've learned is that people leave. Um, People, whether they want to or not, people always leave, and it's not worth getting too stuck in one place because that just makes it harder for everyone.
He sort of he's kind of stopped walking because he was listening to you, and he does this big inhalation and then lets out this big sort of cloud of train steam, like, sigh. Because it's still cold, like, you still have that wonderful visual going on with him. And he starts walking again. He's like, well, I agree with you on some of those facts, but not on others. I think that when you encounter something that you find to be absolutely wonderful, even if you've never had it before, and that kind of terrifies you, it gives you a very pointed look, I think you're scared of it. I think if you could come to terms with it, you would understand that this can make you stronger.
I mean, not to brag or anything. I'm pretty strong already.
You and me are gonna have an arm wrestling match at some point, and you're gonna regret saying that. He's got a big smile on his face. But I mean it, like, why are you running away? I'm not gonna stop you from traveling. That I understand. I've been all over to make my films. It's been necessary. But in terms of the permanence of this, and he's patting his heart again, that's not something that you should wander away from. That's something that you keep with you wherever you're going.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not planning on leaving all this. It's just, putting the roots down is it feels like too much, but don't mistake it. I'll be around. I don't trust you guys to not get yourselves blown up.
Aye, we need a responsible grown-up, don't we? Sort of doing the, oh, fancy you, sort of head shake. Got to have someone to look after your old man.
Oh, God.
I think at this point you've probably reached the studio, so you can, like, head indoors and put things away on the shelves, which, allows a little bit of thinking time. Because you said a mouthful, and he's very curious about you now, but he really doesn't. He doesn't want to press it too hard, because he knows this is, like, way too soon. But he really wants to know a lot about you. Like, if you were rolling insight, you might know this, because he's not, like, disguising it. He doesn't particularly do disguising how he feels, actually.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard when you're sort of a mood lamp.
Yeah, but, his personality just... Unless he's acting or really doesn't want to know someone, like, doesn't want someone to be upset because he's upset, like, he doesn't disguise this, so he thinks you're kind of, like, avoiding the truth of the situation. But yeah, you're putting stuff away in the studio. Do you want to pick, like, the next topic? Because I kind of did that one for you.
Larry, put stuff away in silence, and then he finally just sort of takes a deep breath and says, we're gonna have to figure out what the hell is going on with that woman, aren't we?
Yeah, you're right. It's been gnawing at the back of my brain as well. And he's not facing you, he's still facing the shelf that he was putting the reels away on. He doesn't really know what to say, but he agrees.
I can't help but think she was sort of an idiot.
I was thinking that too! And he turns around, like, with his arms, like, what the peck? How can someone who's clearly got, like, she's canny, I'll give her that. Like, she actually came up with some pretty clever stuff. But then she's got the constitution of a wet paper bag! What did she think was gonna happen?
Well, she she would have gotten away with it if she didn't want to mess with you so bad.
Aye, and if it hadn't have
Like,
been for you pesky kids and all.
like did the two of you like know each other before all this? Like, because unnecessarily spiteful.
He gives a big, wide, slow shake of the head. No, I've never worked with her before. I mean, you saw DJ Moves. He was her fan. I mean, I'm kind of a fan. After that first film she did, that was good. Everyone has to admit, even now, that's a good film. Somewhat tarnished now. He looks really kind of upset about this because a good film is a good film. Damn it! Why did you have to spoil that, Dora? Um, but no, I've never met her before we got on that train. I probably should have done me research. I don't know if I would have been able to know what was going to go on, but then we're starting to blame ourselves and not her, which we should. Uh, no, I have no idea why she had it in for me so badly, outside of what she explained, which I don't agree with.
Oh yeah, her motives were
Questionable.
um
I
yeah, a load of hot garbage. Um, but
I can't help but wonder if she. No, that's stupid.
no, no. Finish the thought.
Well, if she had a director, does that make sense?
Someone else telling her to cause all this.
He just nods, kind of. Like, he's not sure of the idea, but now that he said it out loud, it's less stupid than he thought it would sound.
Mm. Larry just sort of, cups his hand at the edge of his mask, thinking about it.
It's not a nice thought to have, I admit it would be tidy if it was just her, but I mean, I feel like we only finished part of the story there.
Yeah, there's too many pieces of it that just don't quite add up.
Well, we're not going to solve it by standing around. I think we'll have to do our homework. It doesn't particularly look like the police had much luck the first time, so we may have to pull out the stops and do it ourselves, as usual.
Yeah, seems like things don't get done without people poking their noses where they shouldn't be.
Just as well we're very good at it. He gives you a big smile.
Where he is just like, oh, don't have much of a nose to poke in things, but
Hey, that's the point. But, as artistic types, we've always been troublemakers.
yeah, yeah, we do tend to get caught up in weird business, don't we?
Speaking of trouble and weird business, I have to say, like, you are cracking in a fight that was stonking. It's like, again, he sort of beats his fists on your shin because he's like, he was so cool. And he says, but wait, what happened with your banjo? It's kind of started glowing at what point? What was that? You got to tell me what that was.
Oh, hmm.
What, more mysteries
I'm
from Mr.
being
Mystery, the mysterious man?
if I'm being honest, I'm not 100% on what it is. Uh, it is useful, I will say that much, but it's you can tell he's trying to figure out how to put it in words because no one's asked him before. He hasn't really had to define it.
Mm.
Um, I you you were part of the the real reason for the train and all that, you know, things are things are dark around here, and I I've just believed in there needing to be a light in that darkness, and I guess some force out there wanted to I don't know, I guess let me hold the torch.
You're doing a mighty fine job of it. Sorry to press a point if you don't have the answer, but I was very impressed. So if you can keep that and do it again if we need it, that'd be fab. If I might make a confession, you know that whacking great sword that I've got. I have no idea where I got that. I don't remember where
You
I
don't
got it. I came to after 48 hours. I had a headache the size of a planet, and I had this thing in my pocket, and I didn't even know what it was, but I didn't get rid of it. And then at one point I swore, and it turned on, and it's this bloody great big sword, which is great. But where the pit did that come from?
so wait, let me check the timeline here. You were on a train that had a fake murder mystery that turned into a real murder and then exploded,
Mm-hmm.
and then you blacked out for 2 days while everyone was freaking out, woke up with a magic sword in your pocket.
That is pretty much it. I have, and he's like, he looks like he has a headache again because he's really trying to remember. He's like, I have like half. You know when you wake up from a dream and it was like a really good dream and you're trying to remember, but it's like trying to hold on to a bar of soap in the bath. It's so frustrating. I'm trying my best every day. I keep trying to remember, but I can't remember what happened to me. It's not like enough people have asked me what happened, but I still can't answer. I did wake up with this, and he's gesturing at the scarf he's wearing. I have no idea where I
Hmm.
got this scarf. I've also got this, and he reaches on the inside of his waistcoat because he's pinned it there because it's like apparently the only safe place. And he's got this funny little. You haven't seen this before. It's a green brooch. It's like crocheted out of green wool, and it's like it's really pretty. It's like a little green flower. He's like I don't know who made this. I mean, it's lovely, and I feel like it's really important, but I don't know why.
Well, I guess what we can take from this is wherever you went during those 48 hours, you,
Someone was very good at knitting.
I think it's worth assuming that you met someone who cares about you, gave you a bunch of nice stuff.
He looks kind of like positively guilty, and he's like, I suppose you're right, but I wish I knew it. Who or what happened? I mean, there's a couple of other things that happened to me while I was there, but I don't think I'm quite able to process that myself. Probably like you in this glowy banjo thing. That is still really cool. Did I emphasize how cool that was?
Eh, there were a lot of glowy weapons happening at the time. It was just another one.
Hey, I mean special effects. Everybody loves them, right?
We live in a strange world with a lot of unanswered questions.
We surely do
Um,
that. Hey, here's a question for you. You're tall. What's that like?
my God. So, um, um, you know what? I being tall. I've I've been not tall before, and I'll be honest, I like being tall a lot better. You know what's great? Being able to reach stuff.
I can only imagine. Not that I'll let my stature get in the way of reaching things, you understand, but there's occasions where I just wish that I could get to the top shelf without jumping up there, you know? He's like, he's actually envious of you.
Have you tried stilts?
I tried jumping, it works pretty well.
Fair enough.
Hollow bones, they'll get you
Sometimes,
pretty far. Hey, actually, I wanted to bring that up too because, again, I watched that footage of you belting down the river. That was incredible. What were you going at? You must have covered what 80 feet in 6 seconds. That's something.
I think I might have just been 60, but I don't know. I
I
mean,
wouldn't lay odds on that. That was something else. And I'm touched, fair touched that you do that, especially now that I know you hate water so much and you still did that. He's really touched. He's really moved.
well, what else was I gonna do? You fell in the dang Mississippi River. I mean, I've got my issues with water, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna leave someone else in the deep end.
I think that says quite a lot about you. And he gives you a pat on the leg. He honestly is like, oh, blimey, that filming took it out of me. And I almost had an English accent there for a second. Did you hear it? Blimey. I mean, what was that? Whatever's my voice actor is thinking of, I don't know. Gonna need to do that. What? I mean, are you okay for like staying places? Where are you staying at?
Um, I've just been at at the local inn
What,
on the
you're
street.
paying? No, don't do that. Come on, we'll sort out a camp bed or something. I mean, I've been keeping in the studio since we were able to film in it again. I'll be honest, but you know we've got lots of props. Some of them are very soft.
Well, I guess. Um, I
I mean,
I I am going to need like I need to be somewhere private to sleep.
oh, that's no problem. Have you? You've probably never been to the basement in a studio. Oh, come on. Actually, do you need to eat something? Because if you eat, you have to do it outside of the basement. Otherwise, mice. Just say it.
Um, well, I mean, I won't say no to saving a few coins on a place to stay at least.
You and me have a lot in common in that regard. You know, I said that I only had 5 gold coins. Hey, guess what? I've only got 5 gold coins even now. I hope that we can make it to the premiere without me spending any more. I'm dying.
Oh, yeah. Uh, um, that business card you gave me, the the offer's still good, right?
Oh, aye. I mean, after the events that took place and that take we did today, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a blockbuster. And he's actually in serious director mode now. He's not being an egoistic little bastard, which he can be. He's like genuinely analyzing what they have. And he's like, I think this is going to be a real success. I think we're going to turn a profit. It may all have to go back to buying the studio back because like I'm living out of boxes right now and sleeping in one too. So I do believe that I will be able to hold through to that contract in the future. I mean, I'm gonna have to start running auditions. Oh, I've got work to do. He looks kind of tired, but also very excited.
And Larry um thinks about it for a bit and he says, "Well, I don't know. I'm still not super sure about it, but if you're still stubborn about taking that risk, you know, I'll be on call for whatever it is you're up to next."
That's what I like to hear. I mean, I'd like a little more self-confidence about it. You do understand, like, hang on, hold on, let me get... And he climbs up some of the shelves so he can sit, like, so he can look at you on a level, because he's getting a crick in the back of his neck. You're really tall, man. So he's, like, making direct eye contact. Him with no eyes, you with a mask with, like, holes in it. This is, like, who... What? Anyway. Eye contact in inverted commas.
Make a perception check.
Oh, how fun. What's my perception? I think it's +4. Where is it? There it is. It is a +4. There you go. 13.
Yeah, it's you can almost see him sort of like something shifting in his behind the mask, but you can't quite make out an expression. You can just tell there's something happening.
He tries not to betray that he saw that, because that's not what, you know, we've already had this conversation. He doesn't care who or what Larry is particularly. Well, no, we haven't really touched on that yet, but he doesn't. That's true. But he says, I want you to understand that I'm not saying these things about you because I'm trying to flatter you. You know my reputation. I don't go around throwing flowers at people and confetti saying, oh, congratulations, if I don't mean it. I try to get the best performance out of people that I can, even if it involves giving them the balking of their lives. Pardon my Grolix. But you have enormous potential. I want you to understand that I value you, not as a monetary asset. I think you are valuable. Does that get through to you?
Larry's quiet for a long moment. He says, that means a lot.
I'm sure it does. I'm pretty sure there's some people who've been working with me for a long time who'd like to hear that sort of thing, but they've got to earn it first. And he says that sort of loud enough that there's an echo in case anybody is in the studio. But it looks pretty empty, in fact.
Look, the stuff with the water, it's I don't want to risk throwing in any more takes with something unexpected, so it might be worthwhile letting you know.
His ears have kind of slowly perked up, but he's not saying anything. He wants you to do leading this conversation.
Larry sort of hesitates and he goes, "Don't. This is awkward."
Hold on, hang on. I've got something that might make you feel better. Where did I keep those? And he's jumped off the shelf and he's rummaging in a drawer, which has what look like lots of legal papers. You see some of those purple type things that you ended up signing as well, but he doesn't get one of those out, thank goodness. And he gets out a piece of paper. He's like, here it is. Okay, this is a confidentiality contract. I would not anyway, but if it makes you feel more comfortable. And he signs his name. And he holds it up to you and he says, if you sign this, I am legally obliged to not betray your confidence. I wouldn't anyway, but if it makes you feel better to have evidence towards the fact.
Yeah, that would make me feel better. He sort of gives it a once over, but not super great at the legalese.
Make an insight check, I think, maybe. Or like intelligence or something. I don't think it's Arcana, but it's like 19.
Not terrible.
You actually can read this contract. It's not like the other one. It's not covered in tiny legalese and in like fine print and curlicues. It's very basic, standard confidentiality material, and even if it wasn't, you can just tell that the engineer is not lying at all.
All right. He sort of nods to himself and signs it. He goes, all right. Okay. And he pulls his mask off.
And the engineer says, "Well, would you look at that?"
Yeah, it's complicated, but water makes it tough.
I am starting to
Uh,
understand that that would be an issue. Have you been like this, like, forever?
long as I can remember.
How long is that?
Uh, I'm not sure.
Well, we've
3
got
years,
memory
5 years,
issues as well.
something like that.
Whoa, oi, that is something. Anyway, well, I have to admit, I've never seen anything like that before. You're a unique. Wow, you are a dark horse, aren't you, Larry? It's alright. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to explain any further than that. But swimming not in the books, is it? Swimming lessons is not going to be helpful.
Yeah, and Larry puts his mask back on and says, "Yeah, to be honest, I haven't tested it out, but I don't exactly want to risk anything."
And I am not risking any asset as valuable as you. And yeah, he just shrugs. He's like, well, that's a mystery. That is still a mystery, but another mystery solved. So I will keep you as far away from water as I possibly can. On the other hand, I can't guarantee you've got a life ahead of you without encountering it. So to the research I shall go, and I do know something about that aspect of the world of physics. So I'll do a little dabbling. I'll see what I can think of. Is
Well,
there a...
I
No, you were going to say something, laddie. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm very talkative. You've got to tell me off when I'm doing that.
I just yeah, I this this world isn't really built for people like me, so I've already done a lot.
And I'll do whatever I have to. I'll unmake this world if I have to. For you, I will just... I might as well say I would die for you.
Please don't.
I'm gonna try not to. I think I've been doing a bit too much of that lately, and he has this kind of look like he's just remembered something, but he doesn't quite remember it. And he's like, now, for some reason, that sounded very strange to me when it came out. Oh, well, never mind. Anyway, I mean it. You're my family. I'll do anything I can for you. And if you can think of anything that I can do for you, just like come and call. I'm your dad, whether you want me to be or not.
I am let's just stick with boss for now, okay?
Boss. I can live with that. Anyway, come on, let's get you a room. And he leads you into the studio basement, which is just bonkers. So many boxes and rooms. You're pretty sure, like, some of these rooms haven't been used in years, but yeah, you definitely can have a prop bed made out of whatever's lying around. There's lots of blankets and giant stuffed toys. Like, there's always gigantic versions of ordinary objects in studios, whether or not like you are ever going to use that teddy bear that's the size of a mountain. So yeah, you can totally have some digs. And is there anything else we should like have a conversation about, or shall we just like leave it with that?
Um, I feel like that might be a good place to drop it off for now.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think we covered quite a lot, and people are going to be super mad about about us not saying what's up with Larry, but the engineer knows, and that's cute.
The mystery continues.
Solidarity. This is so nice. I think this was fun. I think this was successful, and maybe we can do some more with, like, other characters. There were, like, things we didn't cover, but I think that feels organic. Like, you wouldn't cover everything in one conversation. So that was really fun. Thank you, Uni. Hooray.
I think this was a good thing to do for our characters and just for us to have fun. Cause
that's what the game's about. That's what the game's about. So, yeah, thank you everybody for listening. This was a little bit of extra content, but I think a lot of this was, relevant and needed, and more closure, even if we don't know what the hell is going on with Dora, ... Yes, mysterious. But at the moment we're still in our happy ending, so, figuring out what year of school to put Shortskid and Snailian into is going to be a hell of a thing. Like, where do you fit them in? They've been to space. So,
just try and keep the Shortskid in class anyway.
Definitely. I mean, I have a feeling the teachers are going to confiscate those teleportation slippers. Oh, by the way, for those who really care, the wondrous slippers of going homeless, they are basically imbued with, what's it called? Dimension door? That's it.
Yeah, Dimension door.
Yeah, so they have a one use of that per long rest. So that's how we resolve that. Which I really should have done, because I was like, they were obviously gonna get the slippers. I should have made them into a thing before the game, you fool. But yes, and Larry has a flying yellow bike, which is extremely good.
Yes.
I love that. Oh, many ETs.
He's trying to figure out how to make it not play every time he pedals.
Yeah, that's like part of the enchantment magic. Sorry, dude. Good luck with that. Maybe you can get someone to, like, cast silence on it. I don't know. Okay.
At the very least, he just wants it to play a different song.
Yeah, just change the track. Oh, well, maybe you can talk to DJ Moves about that.
Very possible. Very possible.
Then you'll get a disco bike. Even better.
Yeah.
Disco bike. Okay, I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Tuning in to Toonkind. And yes, we'll see you all next time, and whatever the hell happens next time. Okay, bye!
Bye!